essential sources of anthocyanin polyphenol flavonoids. Ready? Anthocyanin, polyphenol, flavonoids. Antho is the Greek term for flower, cyanin, blue. So they're blue pigments, blue colors of flowers, and in this case the berries. These are a wonderful antioxidant, and they get into your bloodstream and they protect many different parts of the body. In just an hour or two after eating them, you'll see those bioflavonoids in the bloodstream. They're a safety class 1 herb. There are no use restrictions. Anybody can enjoy bilberries. That's my hand. You can see how purple my fingers are from harvesting them for breakfast when I was on my bike ride with my daughter, harvesting and foraging all the way. They're anti-inflammatory. They're an iron chelator. Women who are taking an iron supplement can get too much iron. It can be a real problem. It can in fact be a source of poisoning. Little kids die from taking their mom's iron supplement. That's how toxic they are. And so bilberries are a great way to help bind to some of that iron so that it doesn't get into toxic amounts. An iron chelator. They improve insulin secretion, antibacterial, and stabilize DNA. As an antioxidant, your DNA, your genetic code, don't you want that covered? How much of your body do you want to protect? 100%. What part of your body do you want to protect? And the DNA is a very important. Bilberry anthocyanins will absolutely stabilize DNA from oxygenation, from the radicals that are damaging to the DNA. So what is this stress that we're talking about? If you're overworking or underworking, if you're not, Mr. Bill, if you're not getting your burpees in, everything goes weaker, right? Everything gains more weight if you're underperforming. But if you overperform and overstress, that is an oxidative stress as well. Aging, of course, reduces antioxidant production and absorption of antioxidants from your diet. You're not producing as much enzymes and acids, so you're not getting as much out of your daily diet, those antioxidants. Normal metabolic stress generates ROS damage. UV light, radiation, these lights generate ROS damage or ROS. Toxins in the air, water, and food generate ROS. What's ROS? What's ROS stand for? Did you say it? Anybody got an answer? You got one?
Abi ako na.
ROS damage is reactive oxygen species. Say it. Reactive oxygen species. There it is. There's the scavengers. They're after the oxygen in your cells. Do you see them trying to buzzsaw and extract oxygen out of your cells? Did you see that? We need to say it again. There's your cell. There's the oxygen in your cell. Those reactive oxygen species, they're actually tearing at the tissues, the layers of your cells to get at your oxygen. They're pirates. And they'll steal that oxygen, leaving your cell damaged or dead until they get it. They're scavengers. And they're thought to be the very reason we age. And so you need to have a rich, complex diet of all of these different colors and pigments, carotenoids, flavonoids, acids, and tannins, because one will not do it. Vitamin C alone will not cover all of your bases, and you can take too much of it. You can actually take so much vitamin C that it becomes oxidizing. It actually puts a little more stress on your cells. So we want to bind those with a rich diversity of reactive, to get all of those reactive oxygen species away from our cells. We want to cover all of our bases. We don't want this imbalance. We want to cover from head to toe. Because plants, they can't go on a vacation. They can't put up an umbrella. They can't turn on a cooler or a heater. They can't go to a store. They can't leave, so they leaf. They produce leaves, and the sun energy helps them produce all the nutrients that they need to protect from the stress they're experiencing. Do they get stressed by the same things you and I get stressed by? Well, that's a yes or no. That's an easy one. I heard a yes over here. Plants? Trees? Okay, I heard it. I heard you. Okay. The same bacteria that affects you is after plants. The same viruses that affect you. The same climatic conditions, wind, weather, heat, cold, affect plants just as they affect you and add stress to their lives. So they have to produce all of these things. And lo and behold, as science is catching up, I don't need science to believe in plants. As a fifth-generation herbalist, I was weaned on plants. I don't need science to believe in them, but I love to have science to quantify, to actually tell me how much better they are than other things, than other agents, other preparations. So I'm very interested in the science, but I don't need it to believe that it's the very best way to keep our good health and to keep our protection and to get our energy. So all of these different flavonoids, luteins, lignans, bioflavonoids, they're known to protect different areas of the body. And we need all of that. A way to measure that, here's the science, is to ORAC oxidation levels, to ORAC a plant, to ORAC a fruit. ORAC knows when the plant has produced its greatest production, its greatest ability to protect itself from its stress. So ORAC testing measures the ability of a compound to protect against these reactive oxygen species. And ORAC stands for? Excellent. The things that will boost your ORAC levels, letting the fruit ripen on the tree. Don't pick it when it's green and then try to use gas and other things to ripen. Let that full color come out, because the color is actually protecting against radiation stress. So full ripeness, careful harvesting. Every time you bruise or damage a leaf, it'll turn brown. That's an actual stress reaction. So dehydrate at an appropriate time and do it directly. Don't let your fresh fruits and fresh produce and greens just sit there. Even in the fridge, they'll lose antioxidant capacity. So we dry them very quickly to preserve and maintain those rich ORAC levels, ORAC values, to keep our antioxidant capacity high. And then use moderate temperatures in drying. Drying these fruits and vegetables and green foods and mushrooms really stabilizes their oxidation, their antioxidant capacity. And so you've got nearly twice the ORAC, I was glad to see. Twice the ORAC as some of the competitors. Now twice is good. Twice is good. When I was working with the Brunswick labs, I found that our materials that we used in the formulation were 3.5 times greater oxygen radical capacity, absorption capacity, than the leading brand of fruit blends out there. And the veggie blend, over 7 times more ORAC values, oxygen radical absorption capacity, than the leading brand. So it's really great to have these superfoods, great to have the science that can measure how effective they are. And we've got at least 12 greens. Wait, am I missing something? What's missing up there? Is there just 12 greens in the C24? Looking for a 13th. Spirulina is the 13th green food, superfood in there. Spirulina. So you've got these 12 plus spirulina to make for a 13th super green food. Can you name these? What superfood is this? What's that? Spirulina. What's that? Someone mentioned it earlier. Cilantro. What's that? Alright, I'm going to have to call on you. Raise your hand if you know what that is. Raise your hand if you know what it is. Not guessing. Raise your hand if you know what that is. I want to hear it shouted. No. Raise your hand. That's dandelion. That's in there. They're all in there. Now, everybody knows those. What's that top one?
Cauliflower ko na sa baba.
Listen, we all know these. I don't have lamps for everybody that knows these. This one might be a little tough.
Anong tawag doon? Anong dito?
It's Brussels sprouts. They're all in there. Now you can recognize some of those, others are not so easy to recognize. How do you know that they're in there? How can you be sure that you're getting all of the right foods, the right species, and that they're all in our C24 and complete? How do you know? I mean, they're in that box, right? They're all compressed and packed into those B caps. How do you know that those are the right things? Did you know that in New York, a letter was sent out to 13 different supplement manufacturers? 13 supplement manufacturers were told, cease and desist all marketing, distribution, and sales of your supplements because they're not what you say they are. 13 companies were shut out of the New York market because what was inside their product had nothing to do with what was printed on the label. They're finding adulterants, they're finding contaminants, they're finding the wrong thing. And the New York Attorney General said, this is ridiculous, and told 13 companies, cease and desist all activity in our state until you get your act together. Well, we can assure you that you have got the right thing. At the same time, the New York Attorney General was writing letters to Nature's Way saying, how did you do it? How did you get it right time and time again? Every time you tested your products, they're always spot on. The quality is always the best. How do you do it? They were sending us letters asking how we achieved such high quality when all these other companies were failing so miserably. And we told them, well, we use True ID. We go all the way to the genetic level, the DNA of that plant. And there's no confusion. We know exactly what fruits, what vegetables, what herbs, what green foods, what mushrooms are in your products. And people can have confidence. They can have protection. They can have the honesty that you give them and provide them with these species, the fruits, the vegetables, the green foods that will give them confidence that they are going to get their very best of health. So let's go quickly through these because we're running short on time. Alfalfa grows 50 feet deep into the earth to get all those minerals and macronutrients that it needs, all the nutrition that it needs, the building blocks to produce wonderful profiles of nutrition, like metacogenic acid that reduces GI tract fungus, condensed tannins that reduces parasites in the GI tract, It's a wonderful, wonderful plant. I wish we had time to talk about each and every one of them. It is used for anemia. In India and other countries, alfalfa is a nutritional supplement for girls, young women, who are anemic. And it does a really good job very safely and effectively. Let's turn to something like blessed thistle. In these greens, we're talking the green superfoods. This is also known as holy thistle. And Moncrief in her book says it was supposed to even cure the plague. It was so very fantastic, its reputation as a heal-all herb. Shakespeare, anybody read Shakespeare? Yes. In his Much Ado About Nothing, get you some Sinicus Benedictus and lay it to your heart. It is the only thing for a qualm. How many of you suffer from qualm today? Probably if you're reading enough Shakespeare, you'll start to get a qualm. The qualm is that uneasiness that you feel just before you're going to get sick. And holy thistle, blessed thistle, is known to help with so many different ailments because it really helps the liver to keep your body clean. In 1568, Turner said, it helpeth the memory and amendeth thick hearing. Now I can hear most of you are listening. But how would a person way back then describe Alzheimer's, describe dementia, describe the inability to pay attention and focus? I think thick hearing is the perfect way to describe that. If a person's thick, I'm not really able to understand because my hearing is thick, is the perfect way back in the 1500s to describe why they would use blessed thistle. Science today tells us is the synaptic acids in there that actually protect brain cells, that keep brain cells nourished and firing, that it could be a very efficient in treatment of Alzheimer's. I better use this because my laser pointer's not going to show up on that screen. Very efficient in Alzheimer's disease treatment. Results demonstrate an extract of blessed thistle possesses memory-enhancing effect by inhibiting acetylcholinesterase. That's the enzyme that takes away the acetylcholines that helps your brain to think. The nourishment that they need to transmit nerves. That is reduced when that enzyme is there, but blessed thistle drops that enzyme level 86%. So you keep all that acetylcholine in those brain cells, and they're able to keep firing and thinking, and wonderful. Yeah, referring back to, I think it was Dr. James, said the heart muscle is the hardest working, but the most energy-consuming organ is the one you're using right now. The brain is the most energy-consuming organ, and that's where you need that acetylcholine to keep things firing. And blessed thistle is known to help prevent the loss of that very important tyrosinase. Alzheimer's disease is being treated by these kinds of drugs. Blessed thistle will do it for us. I wish we had time to go over all of these. Maybe I'll just point out a few things because we're not going to have the time for each of these. But in Russia, they determined that in the space laboratory, in an area about the size of the floor of the space lab, they grow chlorella under the floor. And in about that space, chlorella can produce enough oxygen and take in enough carbon dioxide to be able to keep a human being alive in an enclosed space station. It's an amazing plant. It was one of the earliest plants and helped us get an oxygen environment to allow for you and I to be